Hey guys, Ingrid Blackburn here. We're going to do a little bit of bullet journaling today. I'm kind of showcasing a couple of things we're going to do, as well as one spread that I continued with after the party. So we're going to dive in. Catherine Pooler Designs has released her first bullet journal. How cool is that? Doodle Garden and some micron pens. You definitely need those. The 3-pack comes in a 1, 3, and 5. I also recommend adding an 08 to your stash. I use that a lot, as well as an HB pencil and a white eraser. Those are must-haves. Basically, those are things that you absolutely need. You can definitely continue with some stamp sets. We have 3 cool ones designed just for bullet journaling right here, as well as the new minis. Look at that. Foundations, icing on the cake, and midnight. And I would also suggest adding a couple blocks because you're going to need that for the stamps, as well as maybe if you're the life of the party, add the life of the party. Why not? These minis are awesome. They're foam ink pads. They're the same fabulous ink, totally translucent. I love them, and they come in a really cool 1 by 1 3/4 inch size. Here's the new Canvo Journal. There are 2 journals. One has an aquatini cover. This is the Doodle Garden cover. The pages are made from 110 index paper. They are heavyweight, they are dotted, they don't bleed through, they are perfect for bullet journaling. You'll see that there's a this belongs to page. There's 150 numbered pages, which is awesome. I love numbered pages, especially when you're doing an index, because that way it's nice and easy to find what you're looking for. You can see the dots there. They are pretty minimal. They kind of fade into the background, but yet they are dark enough that you can see them easily. I'm getting started. I'm just writing my name right in there. I don't have many plans for that page. And here's the inside cover, because you're probably looking at the laminated cover going, how am I going to color this? Well, Catherine wouldn't want to disappoint you. She stuck one right in there in the beginning that you can go ahead and color. Me, I like it black and white. Who knows? Maybe I'll do some Zentangling. Maybe I'll color it. These are pretty much the supplies that I think you pretty much need. Definitely a pencil sharpener, because you want to keep your pencils sharp. The 3 stamp sets that come in the starter pack. The daily plan, months and doodads, and put a pin in it. They're great all-around sets. We're going to use a couple of the stamps today. And the starter pack. It also comes with the foundations collection. These 4 kind of primary inks, which are wonderful. You can see these minis. They're a great size. They are foam. Very few minis out there on the market are foam. So you get that great stamp ink coverage that, you know, is a little frustrating with other felt and linen pads. So here's the life of the party. That's a great way to add some extra colors. Definitely don't forget about the neutrals. We do have the neutrals in with the starter pack. And that black is the Archival Ink. So if you're looking for an archival ink in a smaller size, first off, there's no better archival ink than Catherine's ink. I use it all the time in mixed media. Definitely recommend some blocks, and these are custom made blocks. You won't find these anywhere else. Catherine designed them herself. They are exclusive to her, and they are very comfortable and very lightweight. I do recommend the refills, especially even more so with smaller ink pads, because you will need them the more you stamp, especially if you like to stamp lots of solid images or do any sort of technique things like smushing. You know, it's a tool. You would put gas in your car. Why not do the same to your ink pad? So I definitely recommend that. It's not necessary right the very first time you buy it, but shortly after, I would definitely add that. You can see here I'm taking one of the micron pens and going ahead and just kind of outlining. I did this in pencil first, and that is me, just my handwriting. And I used to doodle a lot when I was a kid and practice my handwriting. And I thought it would be kind of fun to just kind of color it in a little bit. I'm using aquatini to kind of color in those nice big first letters, as well as the exclamation point. This is more of a sit back and relax kind of video. I have a lot that I'm going to be doing. You can see here I'm using the Zig Blender pen. There's no bleed through. Did you notice that? I'm going to flip back and forth a few times throughout the video, and I've sped up the bulk of this just so that you don't have to watch everything in real time. If you are interested in seeing stuff in real time, definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to know that. I've considered setting up those videos on a different platform for you, and I would love to know if that's interesting to you. You can see here, now I'm using aquatini, and I kind of used some orangish color because those are complementary colors, and I thought it would look really great together. Wanted to keep this page simple, just some little doodles. You know, now I'm going in with my micron pen and circling the little kind of speckles that I created there. You know, nothing too crazy. Let the adventure begin. That's how I felt when I did this. I like to know or be able to easily turn to pages, and I didn't want to add labels or tags on the side. So I'm adding a little bit of ribbon. I'm tying it at the top, and then when I need to actually work within my journal, I just tuck those tails right into the spine. It's very easy to do. It worked really well for me, and it kind of adds a little bit of frill. Now this is my first page. There are a lot of pages in between, but since 2019 is coming right up, I'm going to do a second video when I do all those pages. We're right smack in the middle or towards the end of fall right now, so I'm just kind of freehanding, or I freehanded in pencil, I should say, a leaf from a photo actually of a leaf. And I have them all around me because they're all coming off the trees. They're so pretty right now, and I thought that it would be kind of fun to just do one for my opening page. I'm going over it in pencil on a piece of scrap paper. I can see my leaf right through this piece of copy paper, and I'm going to cut that out and use that as a mask. And then I'm going to come in and do a very traditional, you know, paper crafting technique that I do on cards all the time. I'm going to do a little bit of ink blending and just kind of use my mask to protect the rest of my Canvo page. So I secured my mask, or actually really this is a stencil actually is what I created. The part I cut out would actually be considered a mask. I secured that down with a little bit of washi tape, and I'm coming in with a mini ink blending tool by Ranger. And I'm going to link to all the supplies below, and I'm also going to add a link up here at the top so that you can have another video that goes a little bit more in detail and a little bit more at regular speed on how I actually ink blend. This is a very, very cool technique, and it works really well with lots of nice vibrant colors. The key really when you're doing ink blending is to not put excess pressure on your tool. You don't want to create any unnecessary and unwanted marks. So what you'll see is I'm holding my tool extremely flat, and I'm tapping actually first initially off onto the scrap, meaning the actual stencil part, the part that's not part of the page. The part that is exposed to the page, that's the part that's being touched the lightest by the tool. And I'm also making sure to come back with my lighter colors to help blend those out. So you can see here we've combined 4 different colors, and we've got a real beautiful leaf. And once we've revealed it and we pulled away our mask, and I'm using the Zig Blender pen to just kind of create some really light veining here using the Tiara Yellow, which is the lightest shade here. Now I'm going to end up coming back over that with a micron pen afterward, but you could always leave it with this. For me it was just a little bit too light, but it was also a great way to add that veining kind of in the background, and if you make a mistake it's not that big of a deal because it's really light. So I've got the icing on the cake here now, and we're going to do a little stamping, and you'll have to forgive me, but my camera had some little hiccup and I lost a small portion of my video. It wasn't anything that was crucial. I just actually did the actual stamping on the book with it, but you see me actually practice here with the stamp, and I ink it up and stamp it onto the scrap paper. I just end up doing that on the actual Canvo page off screen. And then I took my micron pen and I used the 08 to actually go around and I just connected all the outside dots. Now the one thing about the dotted journal is there are 32 across, I'm trying to remember, 32 across and 41 down I believe. And you know, I just wrote that in the back. Catherine gave that tip when she first introduced it. Here you see me just kind of stuffing my little extra threads down, because otherwise if I leave them out they create a little bulk there, which makes it hard to leave it flat, but tucked in it's perfect. So I just wrote that in the very, very back on my pen test page, which is just the last page of the journal, and that's just where I test out any new pens that I'm using. So I inked up November here, and I just stamped it in random colors, started with my lightest shade on the middle and came in with some darker ones on the outside. To clean your stamps, just spritz very lightly with some water and a paper towel. That's it. Nothing crazy. So this is my month calendar, and I have a section for, dates that are important to me, as well as tracking my social media, which is important for me to kind of keep that, in my mind space, make sure that I'm actually paying attention to that. So that it's in the forefront. Otherwise, I kind of forget. And if I don't track it consistently like that, then I never know. I can't track any trends or anything like that. So it's important. For me, it's important at least to look at it on a monthly basis, or anything important to put there. I also like to have a calendar for the next month. That's just something that I like anytime I've had a planner. I haven't really gone over why I am bullet journaling. Bullet journaling is, for me, it's solving a problem, and that's phenomenal because I have been on the hunt for the perfect planner for probably 2 years. You can ask my friend Laurel, my good little crafty friend Laurel Beard. She steered me to another planner about 1.5 years ago called the Get to Work book. And I had been using that for a while, but I honestly wasn't even using that as well as other planners in the past. And I thought that had kind of fixed my problem, but I think what my real problem is, I need a custom planner. So that's what this book is. It's going to be part art book for me, part custom planner. It's going to help me track everything that I need. And look at this, I get to be artsy. I'm taking the marching leaf stencil with one of the tools that I use all the time, an ink blending tool, and these awesome new mini ink pads, and blending that with something that's functional, tracking, what's going on in my daily life. And I love that. I'm basically masking off my calendar right now, and I'm just gonna, take a couple colors, and I'm taking the Tiki Torch, which is kind of a reddish orange, as well as the Tiara, which is a real nice yellow. And I'm also taking a Rocking Red here, which is a traditional red, and I'm just gonna kind of pounce that through the stencil, and look at that cool pattern. This is a great stencil to use because it's very easy to move, because you can tell that my stencil is 6x6 and the planner is 7x9. That's the actual size of the pages. So it's very easy to just take it and position it over something else to just extend my pattern. And anytime I have a stencil that's like that, that's gold to me, because I then can get so much use out of that, whether it's on a gel plate, mixed media, using it like this in my planner, my Canvo, that's pretty awesome. I love it when I can stretch my tools as much as possible, because then I can afford to buy other tools, which is nice. So I'm going to do this on both pages, and I'm going to speed this up super, super fast, because you saw me do it. You don't need to see it done completely at regular speed. So if it's a little too fast for you, I'm sorry, but I just wanted to kind of get through it because we have a lot to show. So you can see here it's going relatively quickly here. I decided to add it up and down the one side here. I did not do it on the other side, but I did want to put it in between my trackers from my calendar. It's just important to kind of mask off those spaces where you don't want something. I'm just using copy paper, keeping it real simple and cost effective. No need to use expensive masking paper or anything like that. And I didn't really want to put tape down, like tape, like painting tape, painter's tape, or anything like that. I didn't want to risk tearing my pages, so I would just use some washi. I actually used washi, and it kind of took up a little bit of the paper from something else. So I kind of was careful around the November, but look at that. Very cool. Now, it's not perfect, but that's okay. It works. And for my December, I'm taking Aquatini with the Zig blender pen, and just kind of went over that. I'm going to do the same with the tiara here over my days of the week. It is important to note that I actually did the calendar in pencil first, because I wanted to make sure not to get that wrong. My luck, I'd put the date or the day in the wrong place. I'm sure that'll happen at some point. So now that those 2 pages are done, we're going to move on to a habit tracker. Now, I know I'm speeding through this relatively quickly, but right now I'm just laying down the foundation, the black and white right now. So you can see I numbered it across, and I'm adding the things that I'm interested in tracking. And I have a feeling that this will probably change as the months go, which is what I love about this concept, being able to change things that don't work for you, maybe adding something new. For me, as I'm starting this book about the 5th or 6th, I think it was the 6th when I actually started this, which is nice because you can start it whenever you want. And that's the whole point of this video. It doesn't have to be January 1st. You don't have to be the person that starts at the beginning of the month. I'm starting 1 week in. That's great. We're going to go ahead and we're going to start from that day forward, which is awesome. And if I miss a week, I miss a week. I'm not going to let that stress me out. On the flip side of the habit tracker, there's going to be the expense tracker. And that's also going to be good for me to just kind of have that in my face, both of those things, just so I think a little more aware of things. I'm really most excited about that. You can see I extended a line too far by accident. So, okay, we'll create a top little a block there. That wasn't the plan, but I couldn't really cover it up. I tried covering it up with a gel pen that I had, and it didn't really work. So I tried something else. That's okay. It's a fluid thing. It's a fluid experiment. So you can see I've got some fun little stamps, and these are from the Months and Doodads stamp set, and it's a great little set, has all the months of the year and these fun little kind of florally type elements. And I'm going to do a little generational stamping, which means stamping once and then stamping twice. And when you stamp twice, you get a much lighter shade, and then you can stamp on top of that with the same color and kind of create, you're stretching your ink a little bit, which is awesome. And I love that concept. I'm going to do that on the one side, and the other side where it is habit tracker, I'm going to do a fall theme there, because that's kind of really the month for me is fall. This is November. It's actually kind of fall is ending. The leaves are currently falling down here in the Raleigh area. And so even though I'm doing flowers on this side, I decided to keep it kind of with a fall look and color. So here on my habit tracker side, I really don't care for that lettering, but that's okay. We're going to work on some brush lettering so that I can get better at that and have a much nicer, cleaner look on a lot of my pages. That's a commitment that I'm making to myself, and it's going to be fun. So it'll be a fun experiment. You can see here I added a couple of different stamps. Now these are from some of the older Catherine Pooler design stamps. These were in the Counting Blessings collection, Stamp of Approval collection, and I love these stamp sets. They're a lot of fun, and there's great larger and smaller images, so I'm taking some of the smaller images and mixing them up with these other flowers, to create something nice. And I'm using this kind of wheat stalk, I guess. I'm not really exactly sure. I think that's what this is. I'm just going to stamp it here on the side. Notice that I moved my stamp all the way to the edge. Catherine said that the other day, because there's the spine there, you want to close your book, and then you're going to move your stamp all the way to either the right or left edge, depending where the spine is. You want it to be the closest to the spine, and that you can stamp without actually getting interference from those rings. And that's a real easy way of doing that. And you also need that for the top and the bottom there, because otherwise the block and the spine kind of, they kind of work against each other, and you might miss your image. And if you miss your image, most of these are clear images, so just stamp over it a second time without re-inking. You'll see me make that mistake on the habit tracker, and I show you how I fix it. So fall leaves are multicolored, and I wanted to have a multicolored look here. So I'm taking this kind of oak, I think it's an oak leaf. I'm not really sure. If you know what kind of leaf this is, tell me in the comments. And you can see with the minis, it's very easy to get in there and add different colors to your bold stamps, which is great. And I'm taking an ink tool here. You can use your finger or a paper towel, very, very lightly dab it, And that helps with that transition, so it's not so stop-start, so harsh. And you can see I got some brown on my tiara pad. That's fine. I'm just taking a paper towel. I'm just going to lift it off. If your paper towel is coming up yellow, even if your ink pad is stained, you're good. You're good. And that's part of the beauty of little minis, is being able to do a lot more with them. So I'm just gonna add some nice even pressure here, and look at that. Is that not beautiful? I love the way that looks. It's awesome. And these two, these little ones, and these are from the leaf motif set, and I added different colors, some green, a little bit of yellows, browns, reds, and it just oranges. It looks beautiful. I love the way this all turned out. Now the actual habit tracker part, notice all my lines are going in one direction. They're supposed to be every other day the opposite direction. I kind of messed that up, but partway into the month, you'll see I fixed that. Now notice I'm adding different colors to this kind of maple leaf. Now I stamped this down and I miss the middle. See that? I'm gonna show you how to fix this. Do not re-ink your stamp. Line it back up the best you can. You've already transferred the bulk of that ink. So more often than not, you're going to actually get it, the missing ink in the right spot if you get it in the general vicinity. I tried to add, kind of stretch it a little bit with my Zig blender pen because I felt like I didn't even get it on the second time. But what I ended up doing, rather than re-inking this, I removed the excess ink that I didn't want to use on the bottom. See, that ink was still on my stamp. I'm going to go in here actually a third time, and the third time's a charm. It ends up transferring. Look at this. Voila, it's fixed. I do that. It's, you know, I am just like you. I make mistakes, and, you know, and that is one of those things. There's no do-over sometimes in a book like this. You can cover up your, you know, your oopses, your mistakes with an extra piece of cardstock, an extra piece of paper, copy paper, something, you know, lightweight. That was a pretty bold image, so I didn't feel that that was a good fix, so I tried to do it the best I could with the tools that I had. And at the end of the day, if it didn't work out, you know, I'd probably try and cover it with something else. I did the same thing you can see right there in the corner. And that was the spine and not having the stamp in the right spot. But I did the exact same thing I just did with the maple leaf, and it ended up working out just fine. Now we've moved on to the next spread, and this is going to be a 7 days on a 2-page spread. So this is going to be where I'm recording everything that's going on, pretty much, more detail. I'm not convinced that I actually need two pages for this. So it's going to be an experiment to see how much I use it. The fact that I'm actually using my journal more, I actually may start to use these the way that they're intended. I love this little stamp. This stamp is probably one of my favorites. It actually just sits on a small block. I don't even remove it because I've used it several times. It's just a cute little banner that's kind of looped over the line. It's very easy to just extend that line. And then I'm going to add the days of the week there. Just wrote in some notes to do. I'm going to use one of the 2 check boxes. I love these checkbox stamps. You just kind of line it up. I lined it up at the top so it was just at the dot, and it just sits in the spot just perfectly. I added the November again like I did on the other page, just did it a little differently just for some variation. Wrote down the page, the actual dates of the week there. And we're going to do something very simple on this page because I didn't want to make it complex. Now, the next week, I actually did a little bit more freehand drawing, and I have a feeling that I'm going to be doing a lot of freehand drawing and mixing in using stamps. You know, whatever I'm in the mood for that week. If I don't have a lot of time, I may stamp. And that's the beauty of having all this, you know, at your fingertips. You know, if I don't have the time to draw and color and do all that, that might actually be a real nice solution for me. So you can see here I did this in multicolor, which was actually kind of fun. I liked that. The next week I did it all in solid color. And then I flipped back and saw that I did it in multicolored, and I was actually kind of mad that I didn't remember that. But just did a little bit of, you know, lettering there at the bottom. I'm tearing a piece of copy paper. Now this is going to be used as a mask to just kind of mask off my calendar. I'm going to attach it with a little bit of washi. I have a stipple brush, and I apologize for not having this on an angle. I'm going to link to another video where I show this technique in depth at an angle so that you can see this. All I'm doing is pound, and I'm going to go through this really, really quick because I don't have a great angle here. I'm just pouncing up and down. Now the yellow takes the longest because there's nothing there. You want to start gradually from light to dark, and I started at the top of the tiara and then moved on to a couple other colors, kind of working in some oranges, and then I ended up with a little bit of brown at the bottom. Another great color to work in is olive green. That also looks amazing as well with this kind of, you know, color combination. And I kind of left the space around the calendar and the days. And I'm just gonna do just that hair there at the spine, the very, very edge of the page, just to kind of frame my 2 pages. And this is so simple. You know, stipple brushes, we all have them. You get them, you know, at the hardware store. And just do a little bit of wheat here at the top from, again, this is from Autumn Blessings, this stamp. That was that one stamp set that had the hand lettered sentiments in it that Shauna Klingerman did. I love that stamp set. It's beautiful. And this was nice and simple. It feels very much, you know, like fall, like Thanksgiving. So we're going to review this, and then at the very end I show you some up close pictures of the week, and trust me, you want, if you're still here, you want to see those. They're very, very cool. Love that page. And then this was really a lot of fun. I love these leaves marching in order in different colors. The habit tracker, which I have been using very faithfully, very excited about that. Expense tracker I've been using as well. I've been writing down things that I need to do. We'll just kind of see how these pages evolve for me, and here they are. Look at this. I just wanted to draw some leaves and some acorns, and I took out my colored pencils and I colored them in, and it was really, you know, nice. It was peaceful and cathartic, and I enjoyed the process. Here's a real close-up. You can see I used lots of different colors. I took a little bit of Gamsol and just blended it all together. No bleeding, nothing coming through the other side. I did a little bit of shadowing to ground all the leaves so that they're not just hanging out in space. And I really love how this turned out. So if you're still with me, thanks for hanging to the end. I hope you enjoyed this, my first bullet journaling video. Here's some more inspiration for you, and I can't wait to show you more in the coming weeks. Make sure to thumbs up and click that notification bell. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.